The large vessels for growing microbes on an industrial scale are called.
Correct response. Fermenters is the most accurate answer.
What is the final electron acceptor in the ETSE in aerobic respiration? Great job! Oxygen is the accurate answer. Which pair of molecules are broken down by the cell to release energy? You're right. ATP and glucose is the correct answer. Every time you exhale, your body is getting rid of dash. Right again. Carbon dioxide is a valid answer. Which process breaks down sugars to make AP when oxygen is present? Correct. Cellular respiration is the right answer. Which of the following processes can occur in the absence of oxygen? Well reasoned. Lactic acid fermentation is the correct choice. Which pair of compounds are raw materials for cellular respiration? Great thinking. Oxygen and glucose is the right choice. The thing that makes eating carrots, apples, celery, etc. crunchy. Good job. Your answer cell walls works well here. Which role is played by lactic acid bacteria in our stomach? Bravo! Beneficial is the answer. The gas responsible for puffing up appearance of dough comes from. Good thinking. Fermentation is the right answer. Which process in aerobic cellular respiration makes the most AP? Oh. Well done. ITSE is the right choice. Please identify the proper location for glycolysis in this cell. Well picked. Cytoplasm is the correct answer. In the absence of oxygen, which process comes after glycolysis? Sharp thinking. Fermentation is the right choice. What type of living thing did we use to observe fermentation? Nice selection. Yes is the correct and valid answer. What are microorganisms feed to produce fermentation in food? Excellent. Sugars and water is a brilliant choice. What molecule must not be present for fermentation to occur? Smart move. Oxygen is an accurate answer. In what step of cellular respiration is glucose broken down? Valid point. Glycolysis is true. The cell organelle where cellular respiration occurs is the. Clear logic. Your choice mitochondria is sound and 100% true. Fermentation is cellular respiration without which molecule? Exactly. O2 makes sense, and it is right choice. Packages and distributes items made by ribosomes and the ear. Excellent choice. Golgi apparatus is the right answer. What is the main problem faced in a packed bed environment?
You chose non-homogeneous mixing, and it is correct.
How many molecules of AP are made in glycolysis? You got it? Your choice 2 is right. NAD and FAD2 release what into the mitochondrial matrix? Smart pick. H+ is the correct choice. During ITSE, H+ diffuses through what protein to make AP? On track. At synthase is the correct answer. The conversion of pyruvic acid into lactic acid requires. Right choice. NAD is the best answer. Which of the following is not a product of fermentation? Nicely done. Oxygen is a solid answer. When respiration occurs with oxygen, it is called dash. Perfect. Aerobic is the correct choice. Which of the following process does not require oxygen? Strong choice. Fermentation is the right answer. What is the primary organic product of photosynthesis? Solid response. Glucose is a valid choice. What do microorganisms reject during fermentation? Nice work. You chose acid, gas, or alcohol, and it is correct. The control center of the cell where DNA is held. Strong choice. Nucleus is the right answer. What type of bacteria thrive in warm temperatures? You chose thermophilic, and it is correct. What is one of the oldest forms of preservation? Correct. Fermentation is the right answer. Which process is used to produce beer and wine? Nice selection. Alcoholic fermentation is the correct and valid answer. Which of the following is downstream processing? Great job. Product recovery is the accurate answer. Which type of cell uses cellular respiration? Excellent choice. Both animals and plants is the right answer. Animal cells have these, plant cells do not. Great thinking. Lysosomes is the right choice. What type of phage slows or stops fermentation? Right choice. Acidic is the best answer. Plant cells have this, animal cells do not. Nicely done. Cell wall is a solid answer. Energy is released when a phosphate is dashed. You're right. Removed is the correct answer. Which phrase about fermentation is correct? Perfect. Takes place without oxygen is the correct choice. What is produced by anaerobic respiration? Sharp thinking. Lactic acid and energy is the right choice. Which one is not a fermentation process? Correct response. Distillation is the most accurate answer. What are the products of photosynthesis? On track. Oxygen and glucose is the correct answer. Glycolysis requires what to get started? Right again. AP is a valid answer. The starting molecule for glycolysis is? Well done. Glucose is the right choice. How many fermentation types are there? You got it. Your choice 2 is right. What are reactants in photosynthesis? Good thinking. Carbon dioxide and water is the right answer. Glycolysis takes place in the dash. Smart pick. Cytoplasm is the correct choice. Which is correct about fermentation? Nice work. You chose take place without oxygen, and it is correct. Two products of the Krebs cycle are. Well reasoned. AP and CO2 is the correct choice. The stuff the organelles float in. Exactly. Cytoplasm makes sense and it is right choice. Cellular respiration's goal is 2. Bravo. Make AP is the answer. Aerobic stages take place in dash. Excellent. Mitochondria is a brilliant choice. The bioreactor is not capable of. Good job. Your answer produce electricity works well here. Stores food, water and wastes.
Clear logic. Your choice vacuoles is sound and 100% true.
One cause of muscle soreness is
Smart move. Lactic acid fermentation is an accurate answer.
the Krebs cycle releases dash.
Well picked. Carbon dioxide is the correct answer.
The powerhouse of the cell.
Valid point. Mitochondria is true.
What does anaerobic mean?
Solid response. No oxygen required is a valid choice.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format.
Nice selection. Contact Narayan Chengda is the correct and valid answer.